Good morning, guys. Good morning, all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Fine. So we'll continue this IAM topic. So in earlier class, what we have discussed, we discussed related user group and policies. And one more topic is roles. But in today's class, we won't discuss about roles because before understanding roles, we need to understand CLI, command line interface. That means whatever. So how what we are practicing every day, whether it's CLI or what.
User interface, graphical user
Yes,
interface.
every day we're practicing till now. We call it as graphical user interface. Means all the options you can see in front of you only in the console. That is called graphical user interface. Whatever you can do, whatever you are able to do with the help of GUI, everything you can do with the help of CLI also. So that is up to you. Whatever you feel convenient, you can use either GUI or you can use CLI. So let's see how we can do things with the help of CLI. So how you are logging in to system if you are using GUI? Every time whenever you log into your AWS account, you need to give your username and password. So what are the things you need to give? Maybe if you have to enter through CLI, we call them as access key and secret key. Okay. Only the naming convention is different as you see. In GUI we call it as username. In CLI we call it as access key. In GUI we call it as password. Here we call it as secret key. Yeah. And where do we get this? Let's see. Even yesterday also when we created user, you remember or not? It is asking you to give access at which level? Only programmatic or only console? I said yesterday, right? You remember or not? We selected only one thing, only console GUI.
Console.
Yeah, I said in tomorrow's class we will discuss about programmatic. So let me log into the console and let's see where and how can we generate the keys, that access key and secret.
Sir, AWS work total will be on CLI and GUI.
Yes, GUI. So maximum time GUI only 98%. Very rarely use CL. Let's go to IAM. So you see here in the first line, below that always. Already, whenever you create an account or the root, so every time you're logging in as root user and practicing, by default there are keys already. The root user has already keys enabled. We recommend you to delete the keys for this root user and instead use the access key attached to the IAM user to improve security. What do they mean by IAM user to improve that? We'll understand tomorrow once we discuss this roles concept. But for today, let's discuss this about keys. Or you can go use this in the quick links, my access key. I said right, username is nothing but access key. So let's go to access key. So actually I have created already generated last time when I created on April 2nd. Something old, it's okay. Let's delete if you want it. Anytime you can create any number of keys and not any number of keys. Two, maximum two you can create per user. And you can deactivate. Let's say you forgot it or you misplaced it somewhere. You can delete it and again you can immediately regenerate it, so no issues, even though sometimes you misplace the keys here. Simply you will delete here and generate here. So now I have deleted here. Okay, so now it's gone. So how can you generate? Simply create new access key. Create new access key. Download key file. That's it. Same like yesterday. I said you right. This is the last time you can see your username password. So don't forget to download that file. Same is the case here. Only the last time you can see your password and this one. After that you can't see. You can see access key ID here anytime, but no problem. But password you cannot see. That's why you have to download the file. In this file only the password will be there. Password means what you call in the language of CLI secret. Fine. So we are having access key and secret key. Right? So with this we can access through CLI. Next thing is how can you configure CLI? So now from my laptop, from my physical laptop, I want to access my AWS resources. How can you do that? So you need to that means indirectly. Now you understood my question, right? Remove this. We are talking about only CLI. Sorry. Now my question is, this is my Windows laptop, physical machine, not virtual machine. It's my Windows laptop. From this, I want to connect through CLI to my AWS account and the services inside my AWS. How can you connect? With the help of CLI. That with the help of that access and secret key ID which you have generated. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make your OS understand. You need to make your OS understand what is AWS first of all. What are commands of AWS? Why? Because you are about to fire some CLI commands which starts with AWS. So first of all, if your Windows OS doesn't understand what is AWS, how can they understand the command which you are firing? So the first task is for you to make your OS understand what is AWS. So for that you need to install AWS CLI software in the Windows. So where can you get that? It won't come by OS. You need to download it from the internet. So go to Google AWS CLI download for Windows. So you see the first link. It's the latest one. You can blind them. It's official documentation from AWS. From there you can download it. So
Sir, by Patti we can't.
no, but is for which purpose?
It's for Linux system.
That is for different OSs.
Yes.
Yes. Here it doesn't depend upon OS. Here the main aim is connection through CLI.
Okay, okay. You go with latest one. Version 2 has here installer. This one. For latest version of AWS CLI, yes, you see this link. If you want, I will give you this one. You can save and keep in your notepad. Of course, you can search in Google too from this. Just click on it. See, it starts downloading automatically. So how much it is? Somewhere 26.3 MB file. Actually, I have already installed it, guys. I have already downloaded and I have already installed in my system. How can you see any software whether it's installed or not? When you need to go and Windows. So let me go to control panel. Yeah, let's check in control panel. I have already installed. That's the same whatever I sent you link, the same software. AWS command line interface video. So the moment you install the software, now you have made your OS understand what is AWS CLI now. So now you can start firing AWS commands from the your Windows laptop. Next question: from where you need to fire commands? CLI commands means. Where will you fire the commands? CLI.
The command from
Yes, command prompt, the terminal. So simply press CMD. Open. So what is the first command you need to use? First command you need to configure AWS configure. That means you are configuring you are doing the setup in your machine. So same right. Whenever you install any software, after installation completed, when you open the software for the first time, what it will ask? Give the name, give some password, something like that, right? Similarly, here also you have downloaded and installed software, but now you need to do the configuration. Configuration means with whose access key ID, with whose secret key ID you are going to access your AWS account. That you need to configure. For that, the command is AWS configure. So open the terminal AWS configure. See? Access key. It is asking access key. Are we having or not? Copy. Paste it. Next, it's asking secret key. Yes, we are having. I copied secret key. That's it. Again, you can count. This is it. By mistake, I entered secret key. Now it's asking secret key. We already have, simply just copy and paste it in your terminal. Next, default region name. So why it is asking default region name? You see, what did I say? By using AWS CLI commands, you can do anything. You can launch an EC2 mission, you can launch a S3 bucket, you can create IAM user, you can create a group like that. So let's say you are launching a S3 bucket. Okay, you are launching an S3 bucket from CLI. So where the S3 bucket will be launched, guys? What do you think? Just the command AWS. There is some command called AWS S3 MB. I will show you somehow. So you'll just fire that command. Where the bucket will be launched? In
the
which?
bucket will be placed in some region.
What is that some region? How can we know?
Ohio.
Yes, by default it will launch in, I think,
Ohio.
US or Ohio. Yeah, both. Anything is US only. By default it will launch in US region only. If you don't specify what is your default region name, but if you are sure that you are always maximum times you are going to use one region. So let's say we always are practicing in Mumbai. So you're sure every time you are going to launch in Mumbai. So what will we do? You can set your default region Mumbai, so that whenever you create anything, you don't need to specify region every time. Automatically, any service, whatever you are creating, the EC2 or S3 bucket, automatically it will launch in the default region. What is the language of Mumbai in CLI? You
AP
can't give
South 1.
Mumbai. You need to give us AP South 1.
This is it.
So you can go to AP South 1. And the default output format means after firing commands, you will get some output, right? So what is the output you want to do? Okay. So usually this is a text format. In Windows OS it is a text format, but in Linux OS it is a JSON format. For you in the brackets it won't come like this. This is for me some values it is showing in my bracket values. Why? Because I have already, these are my old values. When I am practicing last time, I have given some values, these are served. But when you are practicing, for you, it will be empty here, everything. It won't show anything. So for you, actually, when you are practicing, you don't need to give txt, you need to type. In the bracket, it will be shown empty, right? It will be shown just like this. You simply press enter. That means you don't need to type like this. Simply press enter. But still, the value will be taken as, in the backend, it will be taken as text. Why? Because the concept is, in a Windows OS, by default, if you don't mention anything and press enter, simply it will take as, the output will be in a text format. Similarly, when you are using any Linux, but if you did not mention whether it's a text you want, whether you want a JSON format, simply press enter here. Automatically, it will take the output as JSON format. Okay, output is nothing technical. After firing command, what happened? Okay, bucket has been created. Whether you want to see that answer, that output in a text format or JSON format, that's the only thing. Nothing technical there. So now successfully you have configured this. You have given access key, secret key, and this. The next thing is now we have to fire the AWS CLI commands. So do we know commands? We don't know it. Even I also don't know. Whenever you get any requirement, you have to do something through CLI. Simply go to AWS, search AWS S3 CLI commands. So go to the first one. No one will remember these commands, guys. Maybe we can remember 2 or 4 commands out of experience, but other than that, every time you can go to Google and search these commands. Clearly, they will give you with example everything. Come to down, you see these are the all different available commands. Let's say you want to create a bucket. So go to this nb. So what they're saying, nb means this command will do what? Nb means it creates an S3 bucket. So okay, now you understand that is MB, it makes a bucket. Now, how can you use that command? If you want, you don't know, right? So there are examples given. See, come down. These are examples. So the following MB command creates a bucket. Fine. In this example, the user makes the bucket with a name called my bucket. The bucket is created in the region specified in the user's configuration file. Have you specified our region or not in our configuration file while setting up?
Yes.
Yes. We have set it up as Mumbai. So you don't need to worry about region. You just concentrate on what is your bucket name. And the command to create a bucket is through CLI AWS S3 only. By GUI you know already. Simply create bucket. You know how to create by GUI. But today we are learning how to create bucket through CLI. So what I suggest you is don't copy and paste like this, because if you do like that you can't remember. Your brain can't memorize it. See, try to type it manually so that I will remember that. Before firing the command, I just wanted to show you that there are no buckets. After we fire the command, we will show. Okay, now I think only one bucket is there. Let it be. So there is one bucket. Okay. Now go to our CLI and let's create a bucket. AWS S3 MB make bucket S3 colon slash slash. See, same or not? AWS S3 MB S3 slash slash and then your bucket name. So now can I give the same name, my bucket, while creating in CLI?
The unique names.
Right. So that's why you know the concept, but you have to use that concept when whatever the concept you have learned, you need to use at this place. Now, what is the question I have asked? Can I create a bucket with this name, my bucket? What is the answer, guys? Can you create or not?
Created. No.
Who said created? There is a no logic, right? You can simply say yes, the command is correct, you can create. But who said no? What is the logic? Why you can't create? Have we
Maybe
discussed or not the basic? But the basic. What is the basics of a bucket name? We discussed when in the S3 class.
it should be unique. It should be
Yeah.
starting letter is small letter.
No, no, no. It's not about capital small. The name should be a
Unique, globally unique.
globally unique. That means on this earth, you can have only a free bucket name with only one name. Same like your email ID. So already in the example itself, there is already AWS created my bucket. So how can so is there anything available in my bucket? If you want also, it will throw error. Is it fail or no? Why? What is the reason they have given?
Bucket already exists.
The bucket name is not available. Name is not available. Okay. So that's why that's the logic. You know the concept, but you are unable to use it here. That's why you need to remember every each and every point, whatever we are learning. So now we can get into it. So now something output came. So you are not sure whether it output is correct or not. How can you check? In this example only they will see. Okay. So after you fire the command, output should be something like this. Our output also is similar to like this or not? No. Yes. If you want to see. This is the output. We have got. So that means it works fine. If you still have doubt, how can you process whether it's created or not? Go to console, refresh. See, bucket got created or not? Where in which region? Mumbai. Now, uh, so someone asks you, Revant, I want a bucket in Singapore region. So how can you create now? You know the command, right? AWS S3 MB S3 Raven region CLI command. If I fire this command, where the bucket will be created now again?
Mumbai region.
It will be created in Mumbai, but I want to create in Singapore. So how can you do that through CLI? Can you see here? You come here. If you want to create in another region, just add one more parameter, something called in the end of the. So till here the command is same, but in the end just add one more thing, hyphen hyphen region. In which region you want to create this user? So automatically that region, that bucket will be created in that particular region. Okay, hyphen hyphen region. So what I will do, hyphen hyphen region space. So what is Singapore, guys? Can I write Singapore like this?
No.
No.
You can write a
Yeah, it's okay. You don't. If you don't remember, you can comment it. What is AP Southeast one? Okay. So we have AP Southeast one. Fire the command. Fine. Okay. Output is also fine. We know the output will come like that one. So now go to screen check whether it's created or not. Hmm? Bucket got created in which region? Singapore.
Hi, Revant. If the parameter validation is failed, what does that mean?
Then command also will get failed. It won't create bucket. And, so
Yes. So if then I have to change the name, right? It
yes, you
shows
have to.
make bucket failed, parameter validation failed. So does it mean that the name is
Here
exist?
the reason is given, no. The reason is given, right? Bucket name is not available. So then only it should strike. That means
It
already there is
shows
a
like
bucket created by someone, my bucket. So you just have to change the name of the bucket.
it shows like this.
No, no, it's okay. You don't practice along with it. Okay? So just try to use it. For everyone, of course, the output will be same. So make bucket fail, the reason will be given. If you study whole complete error in somewhere in the middle of the night, it will show that reason. So it's not available. So immediately strike the name of the bucket should be globally unique. Similarly, you can use the IAM command also. Let's see IAM command through CLI. So what you can search AWS IAM CLI command. Okay. If you come now, available commands are there. So you want to add an user. So check where is the command for creating user. Okay, create. So what is the command? You can go and check in the example how they create user. What is the command? AWS IAM create user hyphen user hyphen name Bob something. Okay, let's check first of all how many users we are having in our account. See, there are no IAM users. Now we are about to create an IAM user with the help of CLI command. So what is the command? AWS IAM create user. It's okay. I'm copying as is. Is there any rule that IAM user should be globally unique? The naming convention? Have you discussed?
No.
No. You can give anything. No problem. So let's write the command. Okay. So now, how can you say yes whether user has been created or not? Something output came. What is the format of this output? In which format we have configured our output?
Text
Text.
format.
Text format. And what is the format here in this example? What is this format?
JSON.
This is JSON. So don't think by saying this, oh, this is something different, I got something different. What did I say? It is nothing technical. It is just for your viewing purpose. If you are comfortable with JSON, you can configure in the configuration for JSON. If you are comfortable with text format, you can configure text. Okay? You just see the output, something failed should not come. Here nothing came about failed, right? See, it has been created actually. You see, user air and IAM, user box, something came. Nothing related to failed came. So definitely the user has been created. How can you process? If you want, you can come here and refresh. Okay? Bob has been created. So like this, you have CLI command for every services. Okay. So even I don't remember whenever I got any, because very rarely we use, I said right, very 2% only we use. That also whenever you want to access this S3 bucket, you want to download something from S3 bucket from your EC2 machine, through CLI we have to access it. Why? Because you see, you are launching a EC2 machine, right? If you want to download something into your local machine, then it is fine. From GUI you can download from the S3 bucket. Whereas if you want to download something from your EC2 machine, how can you download it? There is no way to connect GUI because the machine itself is a virtual machine and S3 also is a virtual. So you have to connect through virtual and virtual. So in that scenario, we use CLI. That means first you will SSH into Linux machine. From Linux machine, you will fire CLI commands to upload or download into that with the help of CLI commands into that machine from S3. That also we are going to see now. So till now, what we have seen how to access AWS account with the help of CLI from Windows. Till access and secret CLI. Second one is we have to give your default region and now we have to give your output. So by default in Windows it is a text. Okay. Now the same thing I am repeating now, but now my machine is not a laptop, not a physical machine, but instead it is a Linux EC2. So with the help of CLI command, again I want to access my AWS account, but not from Windows machine. Now it's a Linux EC2, it's a virtual machine. So now, so first let me launch EC2 and then I will ask you some questions. So let me launch. You can launch anywhere again. It's not compulsory from Mumbai. can launch anywhere because you are about to set it up, the configuration, so no issue. It's okay, only 22 is enough. Do you have any? I think I can use 22 seconds. Hmm. And launch instance. I'll let the instance get launched. Meanwhile, I will convert that time to PPK. So yeah, now you see guys, fine. What is the reason I have fired this command in the Windows?
To install AWS.
Yes, to install AWS CLI, that is one thing. I can say like that, but I have explained in much better way so that you will understand. I have used some more things. Why I am firing this command?
First, you can configure the AWS for the CLI commands.
For understanding.
Right,
Starting with the Linux.
right.
OS understand.
For making my OS understand what is the AWS command. So what did you observe? If you, all this time till now we have fired so many commands. What did you observe in the CLI command? Every command starts with what is the first? Every command starts with
AWS.
AWS. So that means first of all you need to make your OS understand AWS. That's why we have fired a command called AWS configure. Now we have launched the Linux mission and we want to do the same. So now my question is whether you need to start with AWS configure. Sorry, I have mistake. Yeah. Sorry, the first thing here we have done is yes, AWS CLI installation. After that only we have configured. Now my question is, should I start with 0 or 1 here in Linux? I mean, should I start with first installing AWS CLI and then start configure, or straight away I can start with first AWS configure command? Is my question in Linux.
So I think we can start with one because this is easy to created from AWS itself. So it is aware of AWS.
Which Linux? Yeah, what you said answer is correct. Others, you got the answer? What you said?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So why in the first scenario why I have installed AWS CLI manually downloaded and installed
It's a
because
Windows. It's a
by
Windows.
default Windows don't know what is AWS, right? So that's why I have downloaded and installed it. Then I made my OS understand. Okay, this is AWS. Now you can understand what is AWS. Now what is the scenario? Already the OS you have launched belongs to Amazon. So is there any requirement to make understand Amazon Linux? What is Amazon again?
No need.
No need. Straight away it can take it. How can you cross check that? When you fire, when you simply start with AWS configure, if it is asking you the value of access key and secret key ID, that means the command is working. That means already your OS understand what is AWS command. That's why it is firing, it is taking this command as well. But if it don't understand that AWS command, so obviously it will throw error. It will say, I don't know what is AWS CLI. But if it is saying okay, if it is immediately asking for the access can security, that means the command has been worked. That means there is no requirement for you to install CLI again. Already Amazon Linux understands Amazon because both belongs to Amazon. On AWS means Amazon, Amazon Linux belongs to Amazon. So how can I say this example in real time? You see, sometimes you buy mobile in this Amazon Flipkart, right? When you open that mobile and you when switch on, have you observed it or not? That app is pre-installed from which website you buy it. Let's say you buy it from Flipkart.
Already the Flipkart is a pre-installed app in it. You don't need to go to Play Store and again download it. Have you observed all that? Same is the case with Amazon also. That means you are purchasing from some company already that is known by that company. That means already that app is known for that mobile. Similarly here also you have launched Amazon Linux. Already Amazon know what is AWS, so you don't need to make it unnecessary. So straight away you can start with AWS configure and rest are same. Region and output. So let's check without, now I am not installing anything. Straight away I am going to fire AWS configure so that we'll get to know whether what I said is correct or not. So try to connect first. Let SSH. I think it's been many days, right? We have created Linux and logged into IAM-2 email. Initial strategy. Authorization. Upload that PPK. Fine. So now we are inside the mission. Let's check internet is working or not. Of course it will work. Okay, all are uploaded. So what do you think, Esther? I'm not installing anything. Straight away I'm firing the command AWS configure. So now if it is throw error, that means I need to install CLI. If did not throw error, you can assume that already OS is having CLI installed in it. As simple as that. See? So what we discussed is correct or not? So no need to install CLI when you are launching Amazon Linux. Only if you are launching something other OS, something Windows or this, then you have to download it and install it. Now from here you know the values. Access configuration. You see guys, what did I say when you are practicing in your mission? I said right, when the first time when I am firing in my mission, some values are already there in a bracket. Why? Because what are these values which are I have practiced previously, right? I already practiced this. Those values are saved here. But what did I say? Since you are practicing for the first time, what will you see in the bracket?
No.
Even in your Windows machine, you will see none in the bracket. Why? Because since you are using for the first time. So that way, don't get confused in the bracket. Simple. The concept here is if you see some value already in the bracket, that means someone has already configured it, and that is the old value. If you see none, that means there is no value. You can give it. So what is it? Copy. Now we are done with this. Now, paste. Fine. Okay. Okay. What I will do for your understanding, wantedly I'm not giving any reading so that you will understand. I'm simply pressing enter. What did I say? If you simply press enter, what will be the answer?
Default region it will take.
It will take default region. You don't know what is default region? Let's check. Something like a question. Let it be suspense. What is the default region? We'll get to see. Same. Here also I'm not giving any value. Simply I'm pressing enter. So what will be the default format, output format?
JSON.
Yes, in a Linux, the default is a JSON. The default is US region. I know, because I have experience, I know. But since you don't know, it's a suspense for you. Let's see how it works. So what we'll do, same. Let's create a bucket. Okay, let's create a bucket. What is command to create bucket? AWS S3 and something. Okay, something I have given some random. Hit enter. Of course, bucket name output will always show like this only, whether it's a text format or a JSON format. The output will be always like this one, because if you see in the example, have you seen or not? Even though in the example it is showing here JSON, for CLI of in S3 command, the output will be always
I mean the output of text on JSON is always same. You see, this is also JSON on actually. Actual text also same both for S3 bucket. So here maybe you can't find it. But in this example, what we can see the default region. Yes or no? Because I did not mention any region here. Sorry, not this one. Guys, you understand my explanation, right? When I said make bucket, this output seems like text. Actually, this output is JSON also. Why? Because the S3 command output, we can't find the difference between text and JSON. Both look same. So that's why I leave it. In this command, you can't find difference. Next, I will fire IAM command. Then you can find the difference of the output because the big output will come in JSON if it's a IAM command. So, but in this example, what we can check our default region. So, where do you think the bucket will be created now with this command? What is the default region?
Virginia.
You see, so you did not mention anything. You did not say to AWS CLI that this is my default region. So what AWS will do automatically, it will consider the default region as US East one. Now I ask you, okay, let's fire IAM command. I just want to show you the output of JSON. So what is IAM command? Let's create any group maybe. Already you have created, right? Let's create any group. Create group. What is the command? AWS IAM create group something group name is admin. So copy that. Go to your next mission. You see, did I give anything output here while configuring the file? No.
No,
What
we
is,
are not given.
what is the default format? That means default output is JSON. While you're practicing also in Windows mission, if you don't give anything here, what is the default one? It considers as in Windows where it is text. Okay, it is text. Now I want to change my default region to somewhere Mumbai in next. What you need to do, guys, now? Now, what is the default region as per this configuration? Every time whatever you create, everything will get created only in
Yes.
CS.
US.
But I don't want that. And at the same time, I don't want always to give that hyphen region. You know the alternative. You can give hyphen region. You know the concept. But I don't want to give hyphen region anytime. By default, whenever I create any bucket, it should get created in Mumbai only. So what I need to do now?
I need to change the region.
Alright. How can I change the region?
There should be some command.
No command. Same command. Why another command? You know the only command how you set up values is that one only. So what you will do simply again for the same command AWS configure enter. So you see, if you observe carefully, what did I say earlier? There is none in the bracket. Why? Because this is the first time I am using CLI here. But now what is there in the bracket? Already I have used my previous access ID. So do I need to again go to my Excel sheet and copy, or simply press enter? Simply press enter.
Enter.
Same again. My secret key is also there. So again, I don't need to go and copy. It's already saved in mission. So again, yes. Now what is we want to change the default region. So Mumbai, what is Mumbai?
AP South 1.
Maybe so. And now, yeah, now you already know the default format is JSON. Now what I'm doing, wantedly I'm making it text. Okay, fine. So now let's cross check this whether this worked or not. So how can you cross check? Now again, same. Let's create a bucket. bucket has been created. So where it will get created now? What? I also don't know because I have given random name. I just remember the first letter. V. Don't also use the name. Okay, VE something. So which region it got created now? I did not mention any that flag, right? Hyphen hyphen I did not mention. Already in the configuration file only I have mentioned. My default region is from now onwards is Mumbai. Now let's check output. So how can you check output?
No, sir, we're not conflict with the permission set, either public or private. Default will take public only, right? I saw this public bucket.
Yeah, that again you have to change if you want. Bucket will be created. This is only for public, nothing about the permissions of the public. Next, let's check the output whether it has been changed to text or not. So what we'll do, let's create IAM command. Use any IAM command. I also did not remember. Go and copy. Okay. Yeah, just create group. Instead of admin something yes, something cloud. What is output now? Is it JSON or text? This is text. So this is how you need configuration. So you see at every step there is so much technical thing involved there. In the first step only, when you need to use AWS configure, when you should not use, I mean not configure, install. When you have to install CLI, download install, when you no need to install download CLI, that depends upon your OS. Just by seeing the OS, you can take the decision. That is the concept there. Second concept, when you are firing AWS configure, I have sent that value right in the bracket. If it is none, just by seeing the none, you can understand that this is the first time you are configuring and using the CL in that mission. But if it's already, if you're seeing some values, like I shown you, right, some star in the end, some value, that means already someone has used and saved some values. You see, if you see none, that means this is the first time you are using. But when you're configuring, when you file the database configure, and if you see something already, something like this that means already some values are saved. If you want to use the same value, simply press enter. No, you want to change that value, you can give your own value so that it will change. That is the concept in these two steps. And what is the concept of region name? By default the region is US. If you don't mention anything, simply press enter. But if you want to change something, don't type Mumbai, type that this one, this language, AP South 1, AP Southeast 1, something like that. And what is the concept of output? Same. If it's a Linux, the default output is JSON. If it's a Windows, the default output is text. So these are the basics and these are the concepts. Any doubt guys in this? In this CLI commands, configuring this. So I just wanted to show you one thing yesterday. I missed that. So what we call this permission. So how can you define permission using? It's okay. Let me terminate this again. I'll forget. Go to IAM. Okay, what are the permissions we have discussed in yesterday's class? I mean, types of permission, level of access of permission. I think.
Read, write.
Right, right, right. Good. So here I'm talking about permission. I mean, in a technical word, we call it as policy in the language of AWS. And in yesterday's class, when we are doing practical, we have discussed only two types of permissions. One is either read or full. Full means, of course, it includes both read and write. And where did you create policy or already existing yesterday while we were practicing? Did you create the permission or simply selected the permission?
Selected the permissions.
Simply selected the
You simply selected the permission. That means already someone has created for you this permission. Who is that someone?
AWS.
I have shown you right in the policies already some 800 are there. I said for every account there are already predefined created some 800 or some permission. I will show you this. Yeah, see how many? 820. Now what I'm trying to say is what is the nature of these 820 permissions plus 820 I mean 820 permissions? Either read or either full. Yes. And what we call them? We call them as these 820 policies. We call them as what the technical name we call them AWS managed policies. Why? Because this is managed by AWS. You can't delete this. If you want, you can try. You can't delete this. And how can whenever you see, how can you say whether it's AWS managed policy or not? Either by type you can say or by this cube symbol. Okay. If for any policy name, before any policy name, if you have a cube symbol, so blindly you can say this is AWS managed policy. Any doubt till here? In policy, I mean, I'm asking about policy. By default, there are 820. These are common for any account. In your AWS account also it will be there. And who created this? AWS created this. That's why we call them the type of this policy. We call this type as AWS managed policy. And how can you say other way? How can you identify if cube symbol is there? That means AWS managed. And can you delete this 820? You cannot delete. Why? Because it is managed by AWS. That is the concept. Okay. So here actually I'm trying to explain the types of policy. Now, what do you think, guys? In AWS, just now I said, in this AWS managed policy, you are having only two types: read or full. Is this only read or full permissions is enough for you in real time? Speaking about real time, let's say I have a S3 bucket. Let's say I have a S3 bucket. There are 100 objects, some 5 folders, and inside folders I have some 20 objects. Okay. Now my requirement is such a way that a person can access my S3 bucket in my colleague only. My colleague, let's say one developer is there. The developer can access the bucket. Yes, I am giving full access to the bucket. But again, inside the bucket, I want the person, the developer should not be able to access 100 objects, whereas the developer can access the folder, 5 folders. Which permission will you give him? Read or full?
read.
Read.
If you, what did I say? If you give read, can I don't want the developer to read these 100 objects. If you give read permission, the developer can see 100 objects also.
Partially.
So here the concept I'm trying to explain you is only read, only full permissions won't be applicable in real time. There will be some custom requirements. See, whatever the example I have given is a custom requirement. You want to give access to a bucket, but not full bucket. Only some limited resources inside the bucket. So you can't give read access. At the same time, you can't give full access. You got my point? Yeah.
Yes.
So in this scenario, we need to create policy on our own. I said right in the next class, I will show you how we can create our own policy. Every time we can't use custom policy. I mean, every time you can't use database manager because as I said, maybe your manager is the even. You give permission to that guy such a way that he cannot access some these objects. Maybe he can access other objects. So how can you give permission in that scenario? So in that scenario, you have to create a policy on your own. So how can you create policy? Go to IAM, see create policy, create policy. choose a service. So what is the service we are talking about in this example? Which service we want to give permission or permission? S3. Okay, select S3. Now you see there are different actions. So what are the permission you want to give? You can depend here. Whether you want only list, read, tag, only he can tag, only so he can write, he can manage the permission. If you select all, it's nothing but equal to full permission. If you select only read options, that means only read. You see under each there are so many options. Under read there are so many options. You see these are all related to bucket level options. Under write there are so many options. You see bucket level options. So now my requirement is he can see the bucket everything. Okay, he can read everything. Only which bucket? How many buckets I'm having? Wait, let me show. Now my requirement is such a way. My manager Raven give access to that particular person only for one bucket. We are having already 5 buckets in our account, but don't give all 5 buckets access to that person. Only give one bucket access. So you see how many buckets you are having here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So my manager said don't give access to the person to all the 5 buckets. Just give him access only to the one bucket, which is this one. Something a DV, VR. So how can you define policy for that? From here, S3. I will give full permission. You see, I will give full permission because my manager said give him permission for full for only one bucket. So where you will specify that only one bucket in the resources. So in resources, it is asking whether you want to give the all permissions to all the resources. That means all the buckets or only any specific one bucket. Can you see anywhere bucket?
Yes, you can.
Only specific bucket. So what you will do? Add ARN. Click this. Add ARN. ARN means Amazon resource name. The bucket name. The technical name we call ARN. So can you find anywhere ARN here? Nestle. Copy ARN simply and actually you can paste it as is there, or you can simply paste the bucket name here. You can either simply paste bucket name here, or you can simply copy the ARN and click anything else. Automatically it will do. Automatically. And now I will say add. That's it. And I will say next steps. Next video. You can give any name. Something like S3 policy only for one bucket access. You see, there is some naming convention pattern you need to follow. They have given the rule below. Either you can give completely, you can write completely like this. If you want to bifurcate, you can't use hyphen. Either you can use plus equal to at the rate of these things, but you cannot use capital letters, and you cannot use spaces. Empty spaces you cannot use. I will show you. See, invalid policy. Why? Because I have given space here. Space should not be used. Right. Description you can write anything. If you don't to give also no problem. You can write if you want. You can write this policy is to give permission
For our understanding.
yeah for our understanding, right? Something like tags for our understanding. So if anyone sees suddenly they will understand immediately by studying the receipt. This
Yes.
policy is to give permission to any user to access only one bucket. And then create policy. Fine. So what is our policy name? S3 policy. Okay, so let's check it. Yeah. So what did you observe, guys? What is the difference between AWS managed and customer policy?
Customer managed.
Type is customer managed, and is there peak symbol? No, right? So these are the two things. You can say just by seeing any policy, you can simply say either by type also you can say, or simply by seeing the symbol also you can say this is not AWS managed, this is customer managed.
So what I will do, if I want to give my manager said, right, for some developer, simply I will go to users. You know how to attach permissions to users. We have discussed in yesterday's class. Simply I will go to user and I will attach this policy to that particular user. So that now that user is having permission to S3, which is, but S3 all bucket or only one bucket? Only
Only one
one
bucket.
bucket. So this is how you can create a custom policy. Okay. And the custom policy, what is the good thing about custom policy? You can do it because you have created it, you have complete control over it. If you want, you can delete it. Okay? Select this policy action, delete. That's it. So now it won't show anything. Obviously, even if you search also, no result. So if you try to delete this policy. See, is the option there to delete? It's free. Why? Because this is AWS managed policy. So actually here there are actually three types of policies. One is AWS managed, you understand. So AWS managed is not simply you will have either read only or you will have full. Custom means customize. You can customize as per your requirement. And last one is inline policy. Okay. This we'll discuss tomorrow. Already you are confused. So many topics will discuss. This will discuss in tomorrow's class. Okay. So in tomorrow's class, what we are going to discuss? Role, and this is a small topic. This inline policy. Okay. Roles and inline policy. So in today's class, what we discuss? CLI, that AWS configure those stuff, and the difference between AWS managed policy and the customer managed policy. Any doubt in today's class, you can ask me. And one more thing, don't practice parallel. I don't know who is that. I didn't see the name. Because you see what I'm saying. Meanwhile, you will go to your screen and you will miss one point. The next point, definitely you'll get error. That is for sure. Definitely you'll get error if you are practicing parallel along with me. Somehow you're getting recorded video, right? So why to take that? Just focus calmly. You know, just peacefully focus on what I'm saying. While you're practicing, go through my recorded video. While then, if you get any doubt, simply paste in the WhatsApp group, like how you're asking them.
Yes.
This is very easy, guys. Maybe you're hearing for the first time, you might feel a bit confused. Just make a note while practicing. Just make a note. Automatically, will understand. Fine, that's it, guys. I'm done with today's class. If you have any doubts, you can ask.
Revant, not related to this topic. Actually, I thought of asking, but I postponed because of some reasons. See, it's related to S3, this life cycle, kind of. See,
Mm-hmm.
think like I have uploaded 1,000 objects in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to keep in the bucket only the objects which I use more. Then the other thing I can keep in like lower class. It's like
Right.
deep archive I can keep. But
Right.
the objects which I use more, I want to keep in standard.
Right.
So how I can differentiate, like how AWS itself can differentiate, like what are the objects in that 1,000, like which is using more and which is using less?
No,
Is
you
there
can't.
anything?
No, you
Is there
can't.
anything that,
You can't say that because AWS you can't understand, right? You have to give. You have to apply some filter.
okay?
Okay, so you know which are the objects you don't want to use much. So those type of objects, you will apply some filter on it. Something the prefix. You will give the name of the object with some prefix which you don't use regularly. So those objects will be you will apply life cycle only on those objects where you have given filters. Only those objects will be moved, whereas other objects will stay in the same type of storage.
Okay, so mandatorily it can be applied only. I mean, so total filter totally depends upon name, right?
Right, name.
So okay, so in that case we need to put naming convention such that like what are the objects which we use must be in standard.
Right.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
fine. Yeah, thank you.